The entertainment world was rocked this week when the unlikeliest of Hollywood voices decided to speak up. Keanu Reeves, the famously private and soft-spoken actor known for his humility and avoidance of celebrity drama, has done something nobody expected. He opened his mouth, and what came out has sent shockwaves through the industry. For years, Whoopi Goldberg has stood as one of television's most dominant personalities, the longtime moderator of The View, an EGOT winner, and a woman who has never been afraid to speak her mind. But according to sources close to Reeves, the public persona may be hiding something far more troubling behind the curtain. The story begins not with a dramatic press conference or a tell-all interview, but with a quiet moment during a promotional tour for an upcoming project. Reeves, who was speaking with a small group of journalists about his creative process, allegedly went off script when asked about difficult collaborations in Hollywood. What followed, according to witnesses in the room, was a measured but devastating account of power dynamics, manipulation, and what Reeves reportedly called the careful construction of narratives by certain powerful figures in the entertainment industry. While he never initially mentioned Goldberg by name, those present say the description was unmistakable to anyone who has followed the talk show host's career. Keanu Reeves has built a reputation over 3 decades as perhaps the most genuinely decent person in Hollywood. Stories abound of him giving away millions of his Matrix earnings to crew members, quietly visiting children's hospitals, and treating everyone from directors to catering staff with equal respect. This is a man who has been photographed eating lunch alone on a park bench, who rides the subway to work, and who has never been caught in a public feud with anyone. So when whispers began circulating that Reeves had something to say about Goldberg, the industry leaned in with collective disbelief. According to insider accounts, the tension between Reeves and Goldberg stems from an incident that occurred several years ago on the set of a charity event. Both celebrities had been invited to participate in a fundraising telethon, and what was supposed to be a night of goodwill allegedly turned uncomfortable when Goldberg began dictating terms to production staff in a manner that Reeves found unacceptable. Witnesses describe Reeves observing quietly before finally stepping in to defend crew members who had been berated. The confrontation, by all accounts, was brief but telling. Goldberg reportedly dismissed Reeves's concerns, and the two have not worked together since. What makes Reeves's recent comments so significant is not just that he spoke out, but that he seems to have given permission for others to do the same. In the weeks following his initial remarks, a growing number of industry professionals have come forward with their own accounts of difficult interactions with Goldberg. These are not anonymous internet trolls, but respected figures in production, writing, and direction who claim that the public's perception of Goldberg as the warm, wisecracking ant of daytime television does not always match reality behind the scenes. One production assistant, who requested anonymity due to fear of professional retaliation, described an atmosphere of walking on eggshells whenever Goldberg was on set. "You learn her preferences quickly," the source explained. "The right temperature of her coffee, the specific way she wants her dressing room arranged, the topics that are off-limits for discussion. If you get it wrong, you don't just get corrected, you get humiliated in front of everyone." This pattern of behavior, according to multiple accounts, has been an open secret in Hollywood for years, but few have been willing to speak about it publicly given Goldberg's significant power and industry connections. Goldberg's tenure on The View has been marked by memorable moments, heated debates, and her signature unfiltered opinions. But former staff members of the show have painted a more complicated picture. Multiple sources describe a workplace environment where Goldberg's mood can dictate the atmosphere of the entire production. "When she's happy, everything is great," one former producer told entertainment outlets. "But when she's not, people get fired. Not because of performance issues, but because they happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time." This alleged behavior stands in stark contrast to the image Goldberg has carefully cultivated over decades. The woman who famously helped raise millions for comic relief, who has spoken passionately about civil rights and equality, and who has positioned herself as a voice for the voiceless, is now facing uncomfortable questions about whether she practices what she preaches when the cameras stop rolling. Reeves, by all accounts, did not set out to expose anyone, but his decision to finally address what he has witnessed appears to have opened a door that many in Hollywood have been afraid to touch. Perhaps the most damning aspect of this unfolding story is not what Reeves said, but what he represented by saying it. For years, the actor has been known as someone who simply does not engage in industry gossip or personal attacks. His reputation for kindness is so well established that even his worst critics struggle to find negative things to say about him. This is precisely why his comments carry such weight. When someone who has everything to lose by stirring up controversy and nothing to gain chooses to speak anyway, reasonable people tend to listen. Reeves reportedly told the assembled journalists that he had watched for years as certain powerful figures in Hollywood manipulated their public images while treating those beneath them with contempt. The industry protects its own, he allegedly said, especially the ones who have been here the longest. But that protection comes with a cost. It tells young actors and crew members that their mistreatment is acceptable as long as the person mistreating them is famous enough. These words, while not explicitly naming Goldberg, left little doubt about who had inspired them. Goldberg has faced criticism before, of course. Her comments on various social and political issues have frequently sparked backlash, but allegations about her behind-the-scenes behavior have typically been dismissed as isolated incidents or misunderstandings. What makes the current situation different is the source. Keanu Reeves is not known for exaggeration or malice. He is not seeking publicity or promoting a tell-all book. He has nothing to sell and no score to settle. This is simply a man who has reached a point where he can no longer remain silent about what he has witnessed. Other celebrities have quietly echoed Reeves's sentiments in recent days, though most have stopped short of direct accusations. Comedian and actor Steve Martin, when asked about working with Goldberg, reportedly gave a terse no comment that spoke volumes. Longtime Hollywood insiders note that Goldberg's list of frequent collaborators is notably shorter than her fame would suggest, leading many to wonder whether her difficult reputation has cost her professional opportunities that might have otherwise come her way. As news of Reeves's comments spread, social media erupted in a predictable pattern. Goldberg's loyal fans rushed to her defense, pointing to her decades of charitable work and her outspoken advocacy for marginalized communities. Others, however, shared their own stories of difficult encounters with the talk show host. Former audience members from The View recalled her sharp tongue during commercial breaks. Former guests described feeling intimidated by her direct manner, and former colleagues shared stories that painted a picture of a woman who demands deference and becomes unpleasant when she does not receive it. The producers of The View have declined to comment on the controversy, as has Goldberg herself through her representatives. But those close to the situation suggest that the veteran host is deeply upset by Reeves's remarks, viewing them as a betrayal from someone she had considered a colleague. Whether this will lead to a public response remains to be seen, but those who know Goldberg expect that she will eventually address the situation on her own terms, likely from her moderator's chair, where she has the advantage of a live audience and sympathetic co-hosts. For Keanu Reeves, the aftermath of his comments has been characteristically low-key. He has not amplified his remarks or sought additional media attention. He has simply returned to his work, leaving the industry to process what he has said. This, perhaps more than anything else, lends credibility to his account. He is not building a narrative or waging a campaign. He spoke his piece, and he has moved on. Whether the industry will follow his lead and begin a more honest conversation about power, privilege, and behavior in Hollywood remains uncertain. What is clear is that the conversation has begun. Goldberg's representatives have reportedly been working behind the scenes to contain the damage, reaching out to journalists and industry figures to present their side of the story. But the nature of these allegations makes them difficult to disprove. When multiple people describe similar patterns of behavior over many years, the weight of testimony becomes significant. Goldberg has survived controversies before, but this one feels different. This one comes from a source that even her most devoted fans struggle to dismiss. Beyond the specific allegations about Goldberg's behavior, Reeves's comments have sparked a broader conversation about how Hollywood protects its powerful figures while ordinary workers suffer in silence. The industry has made significant strides in addressing workplace misconduct in recent years, but much of that focus has been on overtly illegal behavior. What Reeves has highlighted is something more subtle but no less damaging. A culture that permits famous individuals to treat others poorly simply because they can. The question facing Hollywood now is whether anything will change. Will production companies begin asking harder questions about the behavior of their talent? Will young actors and crew members feel empowered to speak up when they witness mistreatment? Or will the industry close ranks once again, protecting one of its own while hoping the controversy simply blows over? The answer likely depends on whether more voices join Reeves in speaking truth to power. So far, the response has been cautious, with most celebrities choosing to stay silent rather than risk alienating a powerful industry figure. As this story continues to develop, one thing remains certain. Keanu Reeves has done something remarkable. He has used his reputation for integrity to call attention to behavior he believes is wrong, knowing full well that doing so might cost him. Whether one believes the specific allegations about Goldberg or not, the courage required to speak out against a powerful figure in one's own industry cannot be denied. Reeves has reminded Hollywood and the world that silence in the face of wrongdoing is its own form of complicity. The coming weeks will determine how this controversy ultimately resolves. Goldberg may weather the storm as she has so many before. Reeves may find that his comments have unexpected consequences for his own career. But the conversation has begun, and that conversation matters. In an industry built on images and carefully managed public personas, moments of genuine honesty are rare. When they occur, they remind us that behind the glamour and the fame, Hollywood is still a workplace where people deserve to be treated with basic human dignity. Keanu Reeves has simply reminded everyone of that truth. What remains to be seen is whether anyone will listen.